They wanted me to go to college and get a degree. My older brother went to college. He got a degree in civil engineering, and my sister got a degree in nursing. So I'm next in line. You got to go and do something. So my parents were just old school and believed that a degree would guarantee some success for you, which is true to a certain extent, depending on what you want to do. So
Right.
coming into senior year, I was tired of working at the restaurant. I've been at the restaurant for like 3 years, and I was looking for a new side hustle, looking for a different way to make money. And I thought that I had to go to college. I thought that was my next step after I graduated. And I remember asking my barber, G, my original barber, G, that I grew up cutting my hair. I asked him, what should I do as a side hustle to make money in the college dorms? And I'm thinking he's gonna tell me to cook food or do some of this homework or like come up with some side hustle. But he told me, he said, why don't you learn how to cut hair? If you learn how to cut hair, you make money for the rest of your life. Because cutting hair is a skill that's never gonna go away. No matter where you at in the world, hair doesn't change. So if you got that skill, it's something that you can hold on to and forever make money with. So when he told me that, it just sparked a fire in my mind where I was like, yo, let me see how much money I can make at first. Because he's telling me I can make money forever. So me just being a young hustler, I'm trying to chase the dollar in the beginning. So I started learning how to cut hair. And right there, right before senior year started that summer, coming into senior year, I wanted to at least get good enough throughout high school just to be average enough to charge 10 to 15 bucks when I went to college so I can make some decent money, not, charging $5 or free. So I wanted to just get my skill up enough to be average enough. But as I started doing it throughout high school, I really fell in love with the craft, and I grew a passion for not just cutting hair, but just having an impact on the person that was in my chair. So I learned early on how much impact the barber can actually have and how life-changing a haircut can actually be, and not terms of just giving somebody a fade, but really pouring into them for that moment of them being in your chair and then becoming a leader within your community. So that was the first start of my passion for the craft. And coming into graduating high school, I had to make the decision that my parents wanted me to make was, you're going to college, where are you going? What are you doing? And my heart was telling me that if I chose barbering, it was going to open a lot of doors for me. God gave me spiritual confirmation that this was going to be a great path for me to be on. And coming into that final graduation time, I remember I was already signed up for college. I had classes picked out and paid for. Moving into that next step, and last minute, I went and refunded my classes. I told my parents I couldn't do it, and I decided to go straight to barber school and chase the dream. So I ended up going to our community college, FTCC, and went through the barber program. Didn't do any college classes. I just went there for the program. It was a year long, 1,528 hours in North Carolina.
Yes.
And after that, never looked back. It's 2 years since I graduated, and it's been the best decision of my life.
That's what's up, dude. I love that you did something like that. You went against the grain, and I wanted to do that myself. I just graduated high school back in May, so pretty fresh out of high school. And you got all these people going, and everyone's going for this, everyone's going for that. And if I was going to go for business administration. And I mentioned to you before we started this call, my parents own businesses, which a lot of my listeners know. And like, why would I be going for something that I have at my fingertips? As you see, the social media world has taken off within the last, 6, 7 years of people being able to reach out. Like, I reached out to a bunch of people about being on the podcast, reached out to you via your email on Instagram, and, Emma responded, we set this up. But the fact that, you went against the grain is truly awesome, is what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to also portray a service for others, but also take back some for myself, because, podcasting, it's different obviously from barbering, but you look at it, it's an entrepreneurial, type business, and you're reaching out to these people, but you're also trying to give back a service, like I said earlier. And that's my whole goal, is to give back a service to others. Like, I'm sure you do, you give haircuts, but you realized early on, because you're 21, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm 19. I'll be 20 in June. So we're not far off in age. So I can relate to that type of feeling. Like, you just want to do so much more than just be a barber. You want to be so much more than just be an entrepreneur. You want to be successful in other areas of your life and truly give back a service and show others what you're made of. Because someone like me in high school, I played baseball. I was doubted all my life. All my life, I got told this. All my life, I got told that. So it ruined my confidence. In high school, I just wanted to get the hell out. I was done. I was like, dude, this is it. I can't do this anymore. School is not for me. And I'm not saying school is bad. If you're going to be a lawyer, if you're going to be a doctor, yes, you have to go to school. But if you have a vision and you know what you want to do, you got to pursue that vision like you have.
Absolutely. Yep.
So
And what you said that was really key is serving the needs of others. Now I feel like that is a I feel like that is a mission that God put us all on, is to serve the needs of others. So I feel like whatever you're doing, as long as you have an impact, that's probably going to be most important to you. So I realized I had a lot of impact in what I did, not only behind the chair, but on social media. And that drove me to want to grow my brand outside of just my city and outside of just the people that I could give a haircut to, which is why I'm so passionate about creating the content I am and networking with others and growing online.
Right. And back on the whole high school subject, when you were making this commitment to go to barbering school and putting all these hours, what was it like for people around you? Like, were you getting hate toward from family and friends?
Yeah, I mean, I would say from family, and most of the hate that comes from family is because it's unconditional love, and that's where I think a lot of misconception is with kids trying to chase their dream and fighting through the battle with their parents, is that you think your parents are not on your side, and they are. Your parents just come from a place of unconditional love. Your parent would give you the last breath that they could, so they don't want to see you go and take the risky route because they want to know as parents that they did a great job raising their kid and they gave them something on earth that would leave them with some bit of success as they leave. Right. My parents don't want to raise me with nothing to hold on to and gave me no type of value in life. They want to raise me with something that I could hold on to and say, my parents worked hard to put me in this position and they took care of me while they could. No parent wants to just let their kid go and take the risk and just go, just go the risky route, go against the grain. They do, and would love for it to work out, but they need to know that they did their job raising you. And that's where the battle was internally with me. Was in the beginning I thought that my parents just were against me. They don't want to see me win. Why do they hate me? But you got to look from their perspective. I'll be pretty worried if my kid told me he would be the biggest barber in the world one day, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, you don't even like, yeah, that, I don't even know it. They're lack of
Right,
knowledge. My
right, right.
parents
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
any better. Social media is so new. This generation has a lot of things that change overnight. Like it's just a lot to grasp on. So, I would understand. I would be the same way if my kids told me something crazy. You hear them say
Yeah.
a million crazy things your whole life growing up. Your kid wants to be the next Batman. He wants to be the next Superman. Then he wants to be the president. He wants to be whatever. Like you hear a million things. So coming into like senior year, coming into graduating and becoming a man, you just you got to be careful with those decisions and things you say you're going to be. You
Yeah.
can't really just be playing around. It's not, time isn't forever anymore. You're getting older, so you can't just be experimenting all day long with, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. You got to really figure
Yeah.
out what it is you want to be and who you are, and
Yeah.
that's just what you figure out all through. I would say like 16 to 30. You're really figuring
Mhm.
yourself out. It was a long journey in that time frame, but when I said I wanted to be a barber, I was dead serious. So serious, I made sure that my first tattoo was the clipper on my arm that said Barber Life. Like that was my first. They didn't believe me, so I was like, look, I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna go
Yep.
get a
Yep.
tattoo.
Yep.
And I got my first tattoo as soon as I turned 18. I said I put Barber Life. I got the clipper. So I'm walking around high school before we even graduated with this clipper on my arm, and I'm like, I'm gonna be the biggest barber in the world. So I look crazy. All these teachers look at me like, yo, this kid just came to class tatted up, and he's telling me he gonna be a barber. Like he never get accepted to college. So
Yep.
I was just firm on the vision that God gave me, and I knew what it was gonna do. I had faith in it.
Yep. You had that mindset so early on, which is I think a lot of young entrepreneurs have, and entrepreneurs in general. And you said something so crucial before. You said from 16 to 30, and I touch on this a lot on my podcast, and I think it's okay for people not to know what they want to do. Especially graduating high school because you're so young. You're fresh out of high school. You're 18, 19, whatever, and everyone's going to college. And I feel like a lot of people are pressuring you for that bumper sticker, and more so, less, it's your parents. They want to say, my kid's going here, my kid's going there. But I really think people truly need to understand that they have to find a passion. You have to find a passion. You got to find something you love. If you don't love, like I have plenty of friends that are in college right now and they don't want to be there. They've told me like, I'm here, I'm going for business administration, but I don't know what I'm going to do when I get out. And which is okay, which is completely fine because like you said, from age 16 to age 30, that is a very crucial time in your life where you're learning and you're exploring, you're doing new things. And I think especially at that age, being in college, especially for someone who has so much time at such a young age, because when you're young, you have a lot of time. And it really is a time to just explore and try new things. That's what I try and portray on people. I have a lot of people come up and ask me like, Joe, how do you do this podcast? Where do you get the confidence from to do this podcast? And I tell them it's just about consistency. And I also love what I do. Like I love making network communications. I love communicating on social media. I love reaching out to people and truly giving people a service back.
Yeah,
So
you're passionate about what you do. You're gonna work for it every day.
and yeah, and and like when you do it, it's not even gonna feel like work. It's not going to feel like work when you do it. I'll tell you that because I do this. I don't make anything from it. I don't care that I don't make anything from it because I love it. Right. And you've gotten to a point in your life where you make back from barbering, you make back for your service, which eventually we all want to do. We want to make back from our service because, we're putting out, we eventually want to get something back. But it's awesome that what you've taken and how you've taken things, you started here, like you got that tattoo on your arm, barber life. And nobody believed you in the beginning. Like, you just like a crazy kid. Like, that guy's got a tattoo on his arm. Teachers are saying this, teachers are saying that. But when you take it from here to there, everyone wants a piece of the pie. And I've realized that early on. I don't have a huge following. I'm not, the next Gary V. I'm not the next Joe Rogan. I'm not the next David Meltzer. But I have a vision and I know what I want. I think if you have a vision to start and you know where you're going to be and you consistently say it, and if God gives you the dominoes to lay in place, you're truly going to knock them down and you're going to crush your goals.
Absolutely.
I also had another question. Back on the whole obstacle thing, when people were doubting you, how did you deal with that mentally?
I just knew that my vision was only going to be made for me. So you can't be mad at anybody else not seeing that for you. So I understood that if somebody's saying that I'm not going to make it here, I'm not going to create this, they just can't see it like I see it. And you got to be very firm on the vision God gave you. You got to have faith for it to come true. And when you're locked into something, I think you're really locked in.
Yeah.
Now, I think if you're not really locked in, I think if it's something you're really halfway into, you're gonna let the thoughts of others distract you. You're gonna let somebody else's voice stop you from going where you want to go. And I was locked in, and I was all the way locked in. I'm still locked in. So at that point, I'm tunnel vision. I know exactly what I need to get done for my dream to be a reality. And anybody else that had anything else to say, if you ain't adding value to this journey, I could care less.
Yep.
It's a time of my life where you deserve to be selfish for your dreams. That's what I felt like as soon as I graduated. And you'll see it so quickly. They tell you, you'll hear people tell you your senior year that when you graduate, and your friends gonna go this way, that way, you ain't gonna be friends with all these people when you graduate. And you really don't. You think everybody's gonna be your ride or die, and then when you graduate, it's almost like the week after.
Yep.
Shit changes almost instantly. The week after you graduate, you ain't hear nothing from none of these people you graduated with. Like It's almost instant. So when I graduated and I realized how many fake friends I had around me and how many people that just didn't add value to my life was around me, then I really, I put myself in a position where I was hurting myself trying to be everybody's friend. I was hurting myself and wasting time trying to make sure that everybody was good and everybody, got my attention, everybody got my time. And then, I made a realization that, you deserve it to yourself to be selfish. Like, it is okay to be selfish about your dreams. You should be. Like, if it's anything relating to my dream, I'm going to be selfish about it. I'm going to make sure that I do what I need to do when I wake up to get my shit done. Because I know what I'm going to do is going to affect a lot of lives when it's done. And I know that the only person that will ever wake up, the only person that's going to wake up and make sure the Joe Pavone podcast will ever get done is Joe Pavone. It's nobody else. Nobody wakes up today and says, like, yo, let me make sure Joe got everything he needs. So when you understand that, bro, damn right, I ain't got time to go to no party. I ain't got no time to go do shit with y'all if it don't revolve around my dream. Because when I got my shit to do, when I got bills to pay, and when deadlines are due for me, I can't look to nobody else. Nobody else is gonna be there to make sure I'm straight. So I'm like, I was like, fuck it. At one point, I broke up with the girl I was dating. I cut off all the friends I had. I locked in on my shit. I was in that garage, bro. I was in that garage cutting. I can't even explain how many hours. I never left. I put the hours into my craft. I dedicated to learning my industry. I did whatever it took. I really became selfish for my craft, and you deserve it. You really do deserve to put that effort into it.
You have to be, at the end of the day, who's going to have your back by yourself? Nobody. I mean, you might have a few, rarely, you might have a few people that want to see you succeed, but at the end of the day, you have your own back, and you got to be, I say it all the time, you have to be fucking hungry for what you want. You have to know what you want, and you have to go out and get it. And I think a lot of people are afraid of taking that step. We talked about earlier, I got friends in college, and, people are just scared. Like, dude, just fucking take if you truly know what you want, and you're truly hungry for, success, and success comes in many different forms. Success is, how you look at it. But if you truly want what you're going for, like you knew you were going to be the best barber in the world, I'm sure you told yourself every single day, you're going to be the best fucking barber there is. Right. And, you're out here
Yeah.
cutting little baby, you're cutting only chopper. Like, did you ever think you'd do that in high school? No, probably not. But you had some sort of vision and you knew you were going to be the best. Like, for example, a family member of mine. I'm not going to mention any names because I'm pretty sure he listens to the podcast. But he told me, he was like, dude, we're having a conversation about life. He's like, you got to get a full-time job eventually. And I bounce back. I go to my parents' gym. I go to the pizzeria every week. So I put in about 40 hours a week there, and I also manage a podcast. So I keep myself pretty occupied. And he told me we were walking out one day, and he's like, dude, he's like, you're not going to be the next Joe Rogan. I didn't say anything because I like to keep a lot of stuff to myself. And I said to myself that night, I kept on thinking about it. I kept on replaying him ahead, replaying him ahead, replaying him ahead. I'm like, who the fuck is he to tell me who I'm going to be? And I love him to death. He's my cousin. But like, why would what do you get out of telling somebody that they're going to be this, they're going to do that? Like, if I want to be the next fucking Joe Rogan, I'm going to be the next Joe Rogan because that is what I put my heart on my sleeve,
Yeah, look, there's a very similar story. A situation I went through too. I would say it was about like a year ago. It was about a year and some change ago. And I would say my growth in the last year has been pretty crazy. But I remember specifically a year ago, I cut for this company, a clipper company, and there was another barber on that team. And this dude is amazing. He's a great artist. He does the best hair I've ever seen in my life. Like, he's amazing. I look up to him for his work.
Yeah.
And I'm competitive, bro. I want to be the best too, and I'm young, so I'm like the young gun on the team. Everybody's looking at me like, oh yeah, like you young, but you ain't got this experience like we got. We've been doing this for years, so I'm like the young guy, but I'm as ambitious as it can get. And I remember we were going to a show one day, and the guy, he does really good designs, really, really, really good at designs, and I can't do designs. I can't do designs at all. I really suck at doing them. And he's just an artist, is what he does, but I remember him telling me as we're walking into this hair show that I would never, ever in my life ever be able to do what he could do. And he's like, you'll never get to where I'm at. And at first I'm like, and at first I was really amped up, and I still am when I think about it. That's why it's still on my mind. I remember him telling me to my face, like, I would never in my life ever be as good as him. And I'm like, damn, that's like really like damn, like I can do
Yeah.
anything I want to.
Yeah.
So I really, like you just said, if I want to be the next one, I will be it. But I really started to think back, bro. I'm like, you know what, bro? I may not be able to be the next you, but you will never be me. Like, fuck Joe Rogan. Joe Pavone's next up. Joe Rogan can never be Joe Pavone. Like, fuck Joe Rogan. For real. Like, fuck that guy that does these hair designs. I don't give a fuck how many hair designs you could do. I don't give a fuck if you could draw whoever in somebody's head. You'll never build your brand to my level. And I stand on it. So I know what I can do. I know what my shit is about. I know what I'm good at. And I may not be able to be as good as him as cutting hair, but I know it's something that he can't do internally with his shit that I can do. And it's not about trying to be, it's not me. It's not me to go do designs. That's not what my brand is built on. It's not what I even am passionate to do. It's not the gift that God gave. The gift that God gave me is to speak. The gift God gave me is to network. So I understand what my strong points are, and I make sure that I really emphasize those, and I figured out what I was really good at, and I built in that manner. I may not ever be able to do what he does, but I'm very confident there will never be another me. So that's why I started looking at it as.
Yeah, and I looked at it the same way. Like, no one can do you better than you can do you. No one can be VicBlends better than VicBlends can be VicBlends. And you're also very well known on social media. You've created a crazy impact through social media. Like, what do you 500,000? I think it is on Instagram.
On Instagram, 500,000. I got like 1.3 on TikTok, and like we're almost at like 100K on YouTube in like a month.
That's wild, dude. When did you when did you blow up? When was that?
If still blowing up, I don't. There's never a big break. There was never a big break. There was never one video that changed my life. Never once that I have one video that blew up and I got 100,000 overnight. It never happened like that for me. I strategically planned and executed every piece of content I've ever made. I have never accidentally blown up off something I didn't mean to do. I've never just cut one celebrity that just shouted me out and all of a sudden I'm famous. It never happened like that. For me, I had to sit back, plan, strategize, and I had to create everything that I've ever done. Especially for my TikTok. I still got it documented in my phone. I documented every growth on my TikTok from October. I don't know if it'll show up,
Yeah, I
but
see.
from
Yeah,
October
yeah.
all the way to where I hit a million. I said October 18th, I'm at 47K on TikTok. I have 47,000 on TikTok on October 18th. I wanted 100,000 by November. I ended up hitting 100,000 on the 22nd, like 4 days later. And then I started predicting, what am I going to do next? What videos do I need? What videos are working? I started really learning TikTok because I slept on it so much as a platform before. I started learning about what works on there, what doesn't. What do I need to do strategically? What stories do I need to tell in a certain way that'll really hit for the following? Like, I've really planned it out until I hit a million followers before Christmas on the 25th. So I
Mm.
went from October 18th at 47K to a million new VicBlends fans by December 25th. But
That's
again, it wasn't accidental. It was all pre-planned, meditated, like strategically put out there. Like I
yeah.
have it all written down, my whole growth. So same thing for Instagram. I just started doing content early on, figuring out the barbering content, and then I started building my brand off of being this barber, and then really learning what else am I passionate about? Motivational speaking. I'm passionate about teaching. I'm passionate about putting gems out there, making content. Whatever it is, whatever it takes. I figured out what else I could do other than the haircut that can grow my page, and I started branching out and doing more of that content. And I learned my platform, I learned my audience, and
Yeah.
it's growing slowly. I'm at like 496 on IG, almost 500, but I plan this will be my million year on IG.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to talk about next. You mentioned TikTok and Instagram. I also mentioned YouTube. You had a new series. It's Told Not Sold, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about it.
Yeah, so Told Not Sold is a series I want to create to give out more in-depth knowledge for young entrepreneurs. I do a lot of gems, I do a lot of micro content for my social media, but I wanted something that could live on YouTube that's a little bit longer in length. And I wanted to come up with Told Not Sold. So because I remember growing just coming up in my career, and barbers, business owners, like older generation guys, they would always tell you that the game is sold, not told, and they would be mad at me because I would put out so much game for free on Instagram. Every time I learned a new technique, every time I learned a new gem, every time I learned something new with hair, I would put it out immediately on my Instagram for free. I would go and drop the full version on my Instagram, and that's how I would build my brand, was being helpful to others. So guys would get mad at me, but like, yo, the game is sold, not told, little bro. Like, you fucking the game up by giving so much game out for free. Like, you got to charge for that shit. Some shit got to be charged. Like, I didn't learn that shit overnight, but then I tell you and you put it out for free. I'm like, man, that shit's lame. Like, that's the lamest shit I ever heard in my fucking life. Like, bro, when you die, everything that's in your head, you ain't taking shit with you to the grave. Nothing. There's nothing that you got in your head that when you pass away, people are just going, oh, well, he didn't say this yet. Like, all of the shit you put out is left to tell your legacy.
Yep.
So I'm not a selfish person, and I don't believe in like nickel and dime your following, right? Because I got a lot of followers, and a lot of them, I've never sold anything to my followers. I've never, other than my online academy, which I don't even promote.
Yeah.
It's just there for people that want it. But I never believed in like really just taking advantage of the people that look up to me, and having everything to be a dollar, having everything to be worth something. If I got it for free, morally, I feel like I need to bless somebody else with it. So I wanted to come up with Told Not Sold, to be, yo, this is game that is told, not sold,
Yep.
instead of the old head saying sold, not sold. So that was my spin on being trying to be a young leader.
I love it, dude. I got one more question before we go here today. What advice could you give to a young entrepreneur looking to chase their dreams and doesn't know where to start?
Start by finding what makes you happy. And I think that's just a vague, and it sounds like such a basic answer. Like, it just sounds like something every other entrepreneur, motivational speaker could tell you, is like, oh, why would you make you happy? Chase your happiness. Like, man, I stand on that shit. It's a tattoo on my elbow that says passion over profit. And, I believe in following your passion first. And I think money is a fruit of the labor that comes along with the work you put in for what you love. I think when you start with a genuine intent, wherever you at, eventually money will come. And that's what I did. I stood by what I love to do. I put out so much free knowledge. I put out so much free game. I helped as many people as I can, and I still do help as many people as I can for the cost of nothing. And then now money's coming. Now we're getting deals. Now we're getting picked up. Now we're getting noticed. But when you start with what you just love to do, and the money gonna come. So I always stand on passion over profit. And if it makes you happy, it's definitely success to me.
Yeah, Vic, dude, I love it, man. Thank you for coming on the show today, bro. It was an absolute honor to speak with you. Loved every minute of it.
I really appreciate you, bro, for real.
Yeah, bro.